When the word civil engineering is mentioned, visions of bridges, highways, and many structures come to mind. Occasionally, it is seen as a difficult program, or that students enrolling in this course must be academically knowledgeable. However, it is important for this generation to understand what civil engineering performs and how its specializations work. The biggest effect on our quality of life will come from civil innovations. If you think civil engineers are insignificant, let me ask you these questions. Who built the malls where you go after class? The waters that flow into your home, and who finds out how to transport water from one place to another? To be sure, some of our existing infrastructures, such as bridges, roads, sewers, walkways, and airports, are decades old. It is the responsibility of civil engineers for designing, creating, and building new, better infrastructure. Because urbanization reduces the amount of land available for construction, we must build higher. Clearly, it is one of the best professions in the world. They help to improve the people's quality of life. One of the specializations of civil engineering is construction engineering and management. It makes the paperwork concept a reality. Time, budget, and quality are real variables of construction engineering. They are in charge of ensuring that the design and specifications are followed on the site. Construction engineering and management use their expertise in business, technical, and management. They made a significant contribution to each project. The structural engineers are known as the guardians of structures, while CEM engineers are known as builders of structures.
Construction engineering and management is a profession for individuals who have great ideas and want to see their visions realized in the real world. If you have ever wondered how the country's tallest buildings, airports, stadiums, roads, bridges, and dams are built, the simple answer is that it's all due to people who work in the construction engineering and management industry. It is one of the civil engineering specializations. This field combines the study of construction engineering with the study of project management. This discipline is concerned with the whole course of a project's development. Furthermore, it is a profession that is primarily concerned with the design, planning, building, and administration of a variety of infrastructures. Constructive application of critical thinking in scientific and technological areas increases the likelihood of a building project going well. This job may assist increase productivity and overcome barriers at the workplace by developing new solutions and quicker procedures. When it comes to enhancing safety, productivity, and catastrophic event resistance, construction engineering management may be helpful. The field of construction engineering management encompasses everything associated with the construction industry.
Planning and supervising the construction operations of a project, which entails conducting site layout, scheduling of the overall project duration as to finish the job on time, and choosing the appropriate equipment for the job in order to do it as quickly and safely as possible, and as well as organizing the work team by assigning individuals to particular areas of competence that may help with the job. It is also essential to manage the materials in terms of quality and quantity, to keep track of the materials used in the project for simple compilation and reporting, protecting the environment by ensuring that everyone is on the same page, usually safety equipment in construction, and ensuring that falling debris does not fall on persons passing by. CEM engineers should constantly review the plan to see if it is on track with what is actually happening in the project. Minor modifications may occur, so they must also adapt to ensure its safety and constructability. Maintain contact with the owner for whom you are constructing. They are your customer, and you should always explain the present state of the project with them in layman's terms. You should also constantly ask them what they want.
Construction engineers might choose between working in an office environment and working in the field. It's not uncommon for it to be a combination of the two. Some construction engineers are more concerned with the design part of a project, whereas others are more concerned with the actual construction phase of a project. With a degree in the construction engineering, you can pursue various professional routes including general contractors, owners and developers, mechanical or electrical contractors, renewable energies, consulting and design firms, the oil and gas industry, the aviation industry, law firms, and historical restoration are some of the business that fall into this degree. After a few years, you can sit for the professional engineer exam and become a licensed professional engineer. With a construction engineering degree and the professional engineering license, you can expect to rise through the ranks of your company's management. Many construction engineers rise through the ranks to hold managerial roles and even become business owners of their own construction companies. Construction managers are accountable for monitoring and direct variety of construction projects successfully from start to finish. Because construction managers are also project managers, construction engineers must organize them, strategic thinkers capable of collaborating with designers, architects, builders, and other engineers to translate theory into practice. Construction managers are in charge of the planning, budgeting, monitoring, and implementing of construction projects from their inception to their completion. Estimators in the construction industry are responsible for creating and revising cost estimates by the Construction Specification Institute, master format framework from pre-project planning to the completion of a construction project. When it comes to construction projects, a construction director is usually responsible for managing, supervising, and directing all aspects of the project. Construction project engineers collaborate with other engineers and contractors to guarantee that a construction project is completed on time and within budget. Engineering analysts can find employment in various industries ranging from information technology to healthcare administration. They are involved in determining how items are manufactured and developing conclusions based on their findings. Engineers in charge of construction projects ensure that they are completed on time and within budget. Additionally, they may be held accountable for the safety of temporary structures utilized throughout the construction process. A construction manager is typically someone who has a college degree and has a previous construction experience under their belt. Construction is becoming a more sophisticated and mechanized process, and the number of people who need formal education will probably expand in the future. Educational level in the Philippine setting, studying construction engineering and management is under the new curriculum of 4-year course of civil engineering bachelor's degree. If a student wasn't able to enroll for the new curriculum, he or she will still be able to continue pursuing construction engineering and management by studying with a master's degree specializing in construction engineering and management, which is already under the Masters of Science in Civil Engineering or MSCE, Masters of Engineering Program or MEP, and Professional Science Master's Degree in Construction Management or PSM. The fields of interest that students must watch in construction engineering and management track are about the advanced construction methods, construction cost engineering, database management, project management, quantity surveying, and safety management. Students in the construction engineering and management program have the opportunity to develop additional expertise in mechanical engineering, environmental engineering management, building information modeling, and many other options through minors in these fields. The Construction Engineering and Management track specialization will equip students with a solid foundation in civil engineering, emphasizing current construction materials, techniques, and successful construction management practices. This specialization focuses on analyzing, designing, developing, implementing, and administering the complete infrastructure and large-scale construction process.
The core subjects of construction engineering and management are as follows: General Science and Mathematics, Engineering Mechanics, Construction Management, construction material and testing, building systems designs, and lastly, quantity surveying. Construction engineering and management requires the use of strong math, science, and computer skills, critical and analytical thinking, time and people management, and good communication skills. People who love building structures, have an aptitude for applying science and engineering methods to solve problems, and have the desire to learn in a constantly changing environment are also at an advantage in this field. CEM also requires the use of computer-related software such as computer-aided design and building information modeling. The graduates of CEM are expected to practice any discipline that involves construction engineering, apply their knowledge on the fundamentals of structural and construction engineering like design and analysis, material testing and quality assurance, building systems, construction technologies, and lastly, surveying. Construction engineering and management is essential for the advancement of society. Construction engineers design and execute processes for buildings and maintain the infrastructure of our world. It is at the forefront of establishing techniques and methodologies for creating 21st century building designs that integrate cost-effective innovations in energy efficiency and sustainability. This field can help improve safety, productivity, natural disaster resilience, and any aspect of the construction industry that could be addressed by construction engineering. In the Philippines, the average monthly salary of construction engineers is 35,000 pesos. Meanwhile, the average yearly salary is 420,000 pesos or 215 pesos per hour. For entry-level positions, the salary starts at an average of 270,000 pesos per year, while those who are experienced workers make up to 720,000 per year. However, the salary still depends on the experience, the role in the company, and their knowledge. The average salary may also change as time goes by.
First is to create a flow of communication. Establishing a flow of communication is most important of all elements of project management. May it be good or bad news, they are equally essential for the knowledge of everyone, including stakeholders and suppliers in the plant. A tool that provides ease in communication is Collaborative Work Management or CWM tool. In these, comments, attachments, scheduling changes, news, and budgets are synced real-time. Next is to make a habit of continuous planning. Planning may be the second of the Project Management Institute's 5 phases of project management, but construction project managers should start long before the actual construction begins and continue revising and developing plans until the project ends. This revision means being extensive to the extent that each stages of planning from design to pre-construction and procurement stages must undergo adjustments if need be. Next is to observe and ask questions. Every good project manager becomes an integral part of the process, working figuratively and literally alongside others. Among other professions across industries, CEM engineers requires attention and integrated effort just because of the nature of its work, which is so physical. At times, it is required to do field visits and inspections to actually see an issue in person before it can be resolved. Fourth is to use tools to monitor costs and budgets. What needs to be monitored? Permits, wages, materials, and equipment of construction projects. What tools must be used? Software that tracks budgets. Since project managers have to think money constantly, from the initial bidding process to project closeout, all costs and finances must be tracked, monitored, and recorded using these tools. Lastly is to implement automated reporting systems. Not everyone in a team that has concerns regarding the budgets or progress of a project have to be replied to by a project manager one by one. Automated delivery tools are oftentimes used by these kinds of work, where weekly distribution of various spreadsheets and status reports are needed. Some commonly used reporting systems are Safety and Health Management, Smartsheet, and DocuSign.
A construction project schedule is a written or a visual depiction of the steps necessary to finish or build the project.
It is similar to a contractor's deed, that is an estimate of the amount of money it intends to spend on the project. The schedule is an estimate of the amount of time needed to complete the project. We need schedules to assist us to manage our construction projects as they grow more complicated and have tighter budgets. Time is a valuable commodity. Each day that a construction project is delayed, the owner or the contractor, or both, suffer extra expenses to sustain the project.
As a result, we need a method for determining the degree to which the project is delayed. The timetable enables us to determine not only the nature of the job, but also the duties of each party and the party accountable for each activity. Manpower should be scheduled in such a way that it avoids interruptions of productive time, repeated stuffing up and down like hiring or firing of workers, creating a work logjam, or peak demand for equipment such as cranes and trucks. A scheduled equipment indicates the precise position of every piece of equipment, big or small, by using a numbered key or providing a description of the equipment in place. Material control is a term that refers to management actions that include issuing instructions or directives to guarantee that sufficient quality and quantity of materials are maintained to enable a continuous manufacturing process with the goal of reducing material cost per unit. The goal is to ensure that the construction materials are readily accessible at the point of usage. The materials management system is designed to ensure that the proper quality and quantity of materials is chosen, bought, delivered, and managed on site in a timely and cost-effective way. CPM and PERT are tools used in building projects to manage operations efficiently. PERT is for Program Evaluation and Review Technique, while CPM stands for Critical Path Method. PERT is a suitable approach for projects when the time necessary or required to accomplish several tasks is unknown. PERT is primarily used for work scheduling, organization, and integration within a project. It serves as the project blueprint and is an effective method for project assessment. CPM is a method used for projects when the time required to complete the project is already known. It is mostly used to estimate how long it will take to finish a job. It is the most important path in project management, since it always provides the shortest time for the project completion.
In construction engineering and management, a bar chart or a Gantt chart is a graphical tool used to manage work in a project. It provides the project team and those looking for project-related information from the individual schedule activities and work breakdown structure components. This figure shows an example of a bar chart or Gantt chart. On the left side of the chart is a list of activities and along the top is a suitable time scale. Each activity is represented by a bar. The position and length of the bar reflects the start date, duration, and end date of the activity. Bar charts are useful and used to detect the amount of resources needed for one particular project. Construction progress monitoring is an inspection that ensures that proposed construction is consistent with the funds that are being requested from the contractor. It also verifies that work completed is consistent with plans and specifications. Construction progress monitoring is done in conjunction with the general contractor's pay application request prior to any disbursement. A physical site observation is needed in order to independently verify the line item percentage completion of the construction performed during the draw request period. The construction S-curve is a graphical report which displays the cumulative progress of a project and is a tool which construction companies use to track a specific metric over time. The purpose of a construction S-curve is to make sure that the project is tracking according to what was planned so that it finishes on time and on budget.
Network analysis is a technique for planning the outline of a project by examining the many activities linked with it. Complex projects are decomposed into smaller activities or tasks and then structured sequentially using network analysis. Then the order of tasks or activities is determined logically. A construction schedule is a detailed plan. To accomplish a building project, it details tasks, schedules, and resources. A well-planned schedule includes tasks to be done and their due dates. Scheduling is the process of listing tasks, activities, and milestones with a start and end date. Every task should be defined and comprehensive during the planning stage to maximize resource allocation and minimize unknown so each activity's duration can be predicted. It is important for defining deadlines, assigning resources, pricing contracts, and determining cash flow. The importance of scheduling in construction projects cannot be neglected since it plays a crucial role in the project's success. Project activity is a milestone, component, or activity with several sub-activities. Project activities are defined as tasks that must be accomplished in order to finish a project activity. Under construction engineering and management, the project activities are permitting, site setup and management security, construction worker camp if there's any, screening, fencing, setting up temporary offices, demolition and site clearance, groundwork such as excavation, filling and the construction of earth structures like embankments, ponds and cuttings, construction of temporary roads, car parks or storage areas, construction of foundations and structural works, construction of the envelope of the building, principally the external facings, cladding, and the fixing of the windows, mechanical or electrical installations and their interface with civil and building work, associated trades like joinery, painting and plastering, landscaping reinstatement and habitat restoration or creation, and lastly, startup operations and activities.
Bidding is the practice of a contractor submitting a tender to a customer as a proposal to undertake or manage a specific construction project is known as construction bidding. The bidding procedure is critical to the success of any construction project. This makes it possible for business to recruit contractors. Tender documents for construction are among the most significant documents that construction firms, project, and asset owners deal with, since they determine who will deliver certain projects, which has a direct impact on all the companies involved in the project, as well as the project itself. The construction contract includes construction specifications. They describe the effort, materials, and installation needed to finish a project. The specifications serve as field guide for subcontractors, outlining the materials to use, how to install them, and the expected level of quality. The specifications are highly significant for the execution of the work since they specify the nature and the class of the work, the materials to be used in the work, the workmanship, and so on. The cost of a job is heavily influenced by the specifications. There should be no ambiguity in the specifications. One of the most important contract documents is the work specification, which describes the quality and amount of various materials necessary for a building project. Construction supervision entails the timely, professional, and competent oversight, inspection, and coordination of the work to ensure compliance with the authorized construction paper, contract documents, applicable rules, project timeline, and any other applicable requirements. Applicants for the examination should satisfy the following qualifications. First, be at least 21 years old. Next, be a citizen of the Philippines. Be of good reputation and moral character. Be a holder of bachelor's degree in civil engineering, coverage of exam. Mathematics, surveying, and transportation engineering, that is 35%. Hydraulics and geotechnical engineering, 30%. structural engineering and construction, that is 35%. Average rating not less than 70%, and no rating lower than 50% in any given subject. The Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering or BSCE curriculum is a 5-year program that teaches students the fundamentals of science and engineering mathematics. It also seeks to give students technical knowledge and abilities in the planning, design, building, supervision, and maintenance of civil engineering works.
And defend the Constitution of the Philippines, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and executive orders promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose these obligations upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. I further solemnly swear that at all times and places I will adhere closely to the ethical and professional rules generally accepted by the civil engineering profession in the Philippines, and that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties and obligations incumbent upon a legally authorized civil engineer practitioner. So help me God. Congratulations.
For the Rules Code of Ethics for Engineers, according to the National Society of Professional Engineers, these are the Code of Ethics for Engineers. For the rules of practice, first, engineers shall hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public. Second, engineers shall perform services only in the areas of their competence. Third, engineers shall issue public statements only in an objective and truthful manner. Fourth, engineers shall act for each employer or clients as faithful agents or trustees. Fifth, engineers shall avoid deceptive acts. For the professional obligations, first, engineers shall be guided in all their relations by the highest standards of honesty and integrity. Second, engineers shall at all times strive to serve the public interest. Third, engineers shall avoid all conduct or practice that deceives the public. Fourth, engineers shall not disclose without consent confidential information concerning the business affairs or technical processes of any present or former client or employer or public body on which they serve. Fifth, engineers shall not be influenced in their professional duties by conflicting interest. Sixth, engineers shall not attempt to obtain employment or advancement or professional engagements by untruthfully criticizing other engineers or by other improper or questionable methods. Seventh, engineers shall not attempt to injure, maliciously or falsely, directly or indirectly, the professional reputation, prospect, practice, or employment of other engineers. Engineers who believe others are guilty of unethical or illegal practice shall present such information to the proper authority for action. 8. Engineers shall accept personal responsibility for their professional activities provided, however, that engineers may seek indemnification for services arising out of their practice for other than gross negligence where the engineer's interest cannot otherwise be protected. 9. Engineers shall give credit for engineering work to those to whom credit is due and will recognize the propriety interest of others. For the seal and use of the seal, The board authorized the design of the seal. The certificate serial number shall incorporate it into the design of the seal. The engineer shall seal and sign all of official papers like estimates, designs, specifications, and plans.
Civil engineers are required to indicate the following on the plans and documents he or she signs with his practice. First is the certificate of registration and the PRC ID. Then next is the professional tax receipt number. This first two, the registration certificate and the ID, are issued by the Professional Regulation Commission, which is a governmental agency responsible for regulating and licensing various professions. The certificate of registration is required before taking a licensure examination, with the charge of 50 pesos along with the 100 peso charge for the application itself for the license examination. The Professional Identification Card, or the PRC ID, on the other hand, contains the profession or the practice that you are practicing. Next is the professional tax receipt number. This is a proof that a professional engineer has paid for a professional tax in order to practice his profession legally. And as of 2019, the tax amounts to 300 pesos payable.
The Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, or PICE, is a professional civil engineering organization in the Philippines. It was established by the merger of two distinct civil engineering organizations, one from the government sector and the other from the private sector. PICE is a national organization that connects all civil engineers throughout the country, and it should be introduced to students as early as possible to encourage the connection of civil engineering students from various schools and practitioners of the field by establishing PICE chapters. The Institute encourages the establishment of student chapters at engineering schools in order to encourage civil engineering students to collaborate in friendship and commitment to science and technology, encourage, guide, and lead civil engineering students, and promote civil engineering students' connection with members of the civil engineering profession.
First is the New York subway system. Since its opening in 1904, the New York subway system has expanded to be the now diverse transit system as recognized worldwide. Even the fare evolved from being a 30-cent one-way fare to the $112 unlimited travel card of today that allows passengers to ride across 714 miles of track. This serves the four boroughs of Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. The system runs underground, which has 277 stations, and elevated, which has 155 stations, and it also incorporates a maze of bridges, which is composed of 68 and 14 underground tunnels. The overall cost of this project has been estimated to be $9 billion. Second is the Three Gorges Dam. This is a dam located on the longest river in Asia, which is Yangtze River. The construction began officially in 1994, which at that time was considered the largest engineering project in China. On its completion in 2006, it was recognized as the largest dam structure in the world. It incorporates 28 million cubic meters of concrete and 463,000 metric tons of steel into its design. As more turbines have been added from 2003 to 2012, the expected yield of hydroelectric power has been achieved from all of the dam's 32 turbines. It can generate 22,500 megawatts of electricity, making it the most productive dam in the world. Although there are controversies surrounding how this dam supposedly prevented flooding, it was built on the intention of protecting millions of people in the Yangtze Basin. Lastly is the Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza is a Mayan city that was built in the northern tip of Yucatan Peninsula of modern Mexico. It is generally considered that this megastructure was built around 400 CE, with its civilization of 50,000 inhabitants flourishing between 750 and 1200 CE. Its architecture is inspired by militarism, in which it promotes images of jaguars, eagles, and feathered serpents. Its main attraction, El Castillo, is a step pyramid that stands 30 meters in height, which is composed of 9 square terraces, gradually diminishing in size, placed on top of each other. Today, it is listed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. If there are successful constructions in history, there are also failed ones. Here are some. First is the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. This structure was located in Tacoma, Washington, and it was constructed between 1938 and 1940. It collapsed only 4 months after opening. The issue was in the flexibility and the instability caused by the cables. The original design intended the use of a material of greater stability and more standard design. But because of its cost, they opted for cheaper options, which is using plate girders. This resulted in a disproportionate depth-to-width ratio. Next is the Vignolis building in London. It was known for its death ray effect as well as the wind tunnel effect. The concave shape of the building meant that when sunlight shone directly on it, it acted as a mirror and focused the light onto the street below, which caused temperatures to rise to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Additionally, the building caused increased wind activity at the street level. The winds were so strong that they were blamed for blowing over street signs, trolleys, and pedestrians.
For construction projects in the Philippines, we have here the Cebu-Cordova Link Expressway. Cebu has developed into one of the Philippines' most prosperous economies, despite the fact that the Cebu metropolitan region continues to grow and turn into a property development hotspot. The city's outdated infrastructure is unable to grow or to keep up. Residents and workers in the neighborhood are enduring lengthier travel times due to traffic congestion due to stressed urban transportation infrastructure, clogged roads, and excessive traffic costs the economy millions of dollars every day, and they have a negative impact on residents' quality of life as they struggle to get around the city. Cebu-Cordova Link Expressway Corporation proposed building a third bridge to alleviate the city's growing traffic congestion. The Cebu-Cordova Links Expressway or CCLEX is an 8.5-kilometer bridge that would link the island of Mactan in the Cordova municipality to mainland Cebu. It will serve as a secondary route to and from Mactan Cebu International Airport with a daily capacity of 50,000 cars and will cut travel time by about 40 minutes. Building CCLEX, like any other famous infrastructure project, comes with substantial risks and challenges. As a result, the customer enlists the help of a group expert to assure project success. Arcadis performs due diligence reporting and certification of accomplishment and expenses as the project's technical advisor for the lenders. These procedures assist in ensuring that all important tasks for successful delivery are on track. We help guarantee the customer that this landmark project for the Cebuanos will come for fruition through regular monitoring of the work on site, careful reviews of documentation and discussion with essential parties. Thousands of people will profit from the construction of the third bridge since it will provide the required infrastructure to accommodate the predicted increase in traffic volume in Cebu. It will also connect neighborhoods, people, and business to greater opportunities once it is operational By creating jobs in Cordoba, it means that mornings and nights at home can be less rushed, leaving more time for what matters most: families, friends, loved ones, and significant projects and causes that each person values.